Katlin, for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to be talking about blue holes today. How many of you know what a blue hole is? No one, that's great. Alright, I'm going to start off by watching a quick video.
On Nova,
you're driven by what is down there.
Divers plunge into seductive underwater caves.
They're descending into an alien environment.
And they're coming up big.
We're finding species that nobody knew existed.
But there's a price.
This is the most dangerous sport on Earth.
Extreme cave diving, a Nova National Geographic special.
Okay, so extreme cave diving is how people get access to blue holes, and the largest blue hole concentration is on Andros Island, which I visited during winter break as part of an environmental conservation trip. And blue holes are very unique and beautiful areas of the world that have gone relatively unexplored. So I'll be talking about how they're formed, why they're unique, and what types of discoveries have been made. So first, let's look at Andros Island. So where's Andros Island? Andros Island is south of Florida, which is here, and then north of Cuba, which is here. And so it's located in the Caribbean Sea in the West Indies, and it's one of the largest islands of the Bahamas. It's also located next to the tongue of the ocean, which is right here, which is just a deep oceanic trench, and on the other side is the shallow banks of the Great Bahamas. You can more easily see the tongue of the ocean right here, this deep dark part, and the shallow part here. And this is from cavebiology.com. The Andros Island is about 100 miles long and 40 miles wide, and it's separated mostly into two main areas because it's cut by a lot of saltwater creeks and bays. And this is North Andros here, and this is South Andros here. You can see it's kind of cut between in this middle part here. So, what are blue holes? Blue holes are entrances basically into submerged caves. And according to Blue Holes Foundation website, about 90% of them have gone unexplored. They developed in banks and islands. They're made of fresh and seawater, and they go below sea level. As you can see, this actually goes down. It's like a literal hole into the ocean. It's a submerged cave passage. They can be in the ocean, which is an example here. And this photo is from cavebiology.com. Or they can be inland, which is here, and this photo is from coralreefinfo.com. So, how did they form? Well, according to the 2009 Extreme Caving documentary, 300,000 years ago, when sea levels were low and glaciers expanded, the Andros Island and most of the Bahamas were up high and dry. So as you have rain coming down, it erodes the limestone base of the island, and you get this large, empty, dry cave. And back then, a lot of animals used that for living, like birds and mammals. But when you have sea levels rise, the cave fills up with water. Another thing about this is that you have ocean water at the top and fresh water at the bottom. And the place where those two meet is called the halocline, which creates a chemical reaction that erodes away the surrounding wall. And so as you have increments of sea levels rise, like maybe this is, I don't know, 10 million years, this is 5 million years, you have haloclines eroding the surrounding area, so you have all these interconnected systems of caves that you see here. This is an example of the Guardian Blue Hole cave system, and as you can see, the cave systems go out way further. So, why are these blue holes unique? Well, according to PBS.org, as we discussed, they used to be drive cave systems, and a lot of animals used those for living. About 12,000 years ago, it could have had like an owl roost or snakes lived here. This is an example of, it's hard to see, example of an owl roost that was discovered, and it was about 12,000 years old. So it gives a lot of insight into the past of the Bahamas. Another thing is that blue holes have no oxygen. That's what's important about them, because they give great preservation for the fossils, because there's no oxygen to support bacteria that would decompose the fossils. So this is an example of a 3,000-year-old crocodile, and this is from the Bahamas Caves Research Foundation. Another thing is that they're similar to the Earth's first ocean, so it's actually like looking back in time because they have no oxygen like when the Earth first formed. And they find a lot of really interesting creatures that have never been discovered before that are multicellular or unicellular. And this was actually just discovered in 2009 in a blue hole. It's a cave swimmer, and the scientific name is S. kukuki. This is another example that was just discovered in 1995, and it's called S. kanoni. And finally, another unique thing thing about blue holes is that they have stalagmites. So kind of like a tree has rings, stalagmites also have rings that sort of show the soil composition, the weather, the rain, how much rain fell, all those things they can see by cutting stalagmites and looking in them. So it's really cool to look at to see how the climate changed in the Bahamas millions of years ago. So, as you can see, there are lots of reasons why these features are very unique, and I hope I've informed you about something that none of you really knew about. And maybe when you go on vacation to the Bahamas, you'll hopefully go see these. These are really cool features of the Earth, and this is me diving into one that was about 400 feet deep. So, Captain Bill's on Andros Island.